I think the situation is bad, but it's probably better than almost any time in the last thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
But as you say, you just look 100 years back to Nazism and fascism and communism, and they could spread disinformation and conspiracy theories and brainwash people on a massive scale with even worse theories and stories than you see today, extremely successfully without Twitter and Facebook and social media. You go 1,000 years or hundreds of years previously, and like you mentioned, the whole witch hunting craze, that it's the result to a large extent in Europe and in the British colonies, like in Massachusetts, is the result of print. People think that when Gutenberg brought print to Europe, the result was the scientific revolution, and everybody would sit around reading Galileo Galilei and Copernicus. Very few people read Galileo Galilei and Copernicus. Most people either read the Bible or they read all these new ridiculous conspiracy theories like about witches. One of the biggest bestsellers of the first days of print in Europe was called The Hammer of the Witches. It was a do-it-yourself guide how to identify and kill witches, which is something everybody needs at home, of course. And people would buy it for a fraction of what it would cost earlier before print. And they believed it completely because, books were in such high regards. So people would say, I read it in a book. There are witches, and they fly on brooms at night, and you can recognize them because they have this wart on the face or whatever. And thousands upon thousands of innocent people, mostly women, were murdered gruesomely because you had these frenzied mobs believing in these ridiculous conspiracy theories. So you don't need Facebook for that. And in a way, the situation in the early 21st century, again, it's bad, but it's better than in the early 20th century. It's better than in the 16th century. The key problem is that the truth is very often first complicated, much more complicated than some fanciful story somebody invents. And secondly, that it's very painful. Most people don't want to know the truth about themselves as individuals or as collectives. Like we have an election in Israel coming up in a week, next week.
Another, wow.
Another, yeah, well, we were very fond of elections.
Sorry, I've lost track.
And a politician that would tell the Israeli public the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about Israeli history has 100% guarantee of losing the elections. There is no way that such a politician would ever win an election, and that's not unique of Israel. A politician that would do that in the US is bound to lose the elections, and it's the same in Italy and in Poland and in the Philippines and everywhere. People don't want to know the full truth about their nation or about their culture or about themselves personally. It's an uphill battle. We are in a better place than we were previously in history. But again, here I'm not very optimistic because the basis for human success is not the truth, it's cooperation. And it's easier to cause people to cooperate with a fiction than it is with the truth. Again, because the fiction can be made much easier and much more likable than the truth. So mostly in history, you don't see a correlation between the truth of a theory and its political appeal. In science, yes. If you want to build an atom bomb, you need a correct physical theory of the universe. But in politics, no way. Fiction usually trumps the truth in politics.